YouTube, this is Roy.
This is Joey.
We're from Third Duelist.
And today we're going to be discussing the advantages and disadvantages of hand versus field presence and how we feel about both. So a little disclaimer before we start. You see us wearing the same clothes all the time. We're not just dirty people. We do shower and all that stuff. So we record in bulk because we don't have a lot of time, but that's why. And these are our opinions, so don't take anything too seriously. We're talking about a children's card game, so Roy, you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah. Now, while I feel that field control is better, I do understand the need for hand control as well. I feel like they go well together. However, based on my play style, I like to pretty much spam the field with what I need and protect it with back row and back row hate. And to me, being able to control the field, you can control the game, because if they activate something from their hand and you have a response to it, you can stop it. Now, yes, you're committing a lot of resources to the field, and bad things can happen. Judgment Dragon is a big one. But generally, at least in my experience with dueling, unless I'm dueling Joey here, field presence has been the key factor in me winning, and unless I'm playing against Joey here. But
hey, it's not my fault.
But for me, field control is a really big factor in the game, because just because you have really, really good cards in your hand, if your opponent can just, especially in this format, where they can just span the field in like one turn and then OTK you, I mean, you could have the best cards in your hand. Okay, well, what did they give you? If you can also span the field with your own protection and your own cards, you're gonna have a much better chance of coming out victorious than just having a bunch of good cards in hand. But I do understand the need for it. Hand control is also good too.
Okay, well, Roy made a much stronger argument this time. We're recording some stuff because files and you know how it is, but I personally prefer hand advantage just card advantage in general, because the more cards you have, the more you can do, obviously. And like he said, when you commit resources to the board, you're doing exactly that. So when your scrubby roommate top decks Raigeki, and wink wink nudge nudge, then you're just like, well, I lose because he got lucky. And if you don't overextend on the board, well, not really overextend, but if you don't commit so much to the board, then those sacky cards aren't going to hurt so much. But your stuff's just safer in hand, obviously, and while, I mean, you risk the potential of being OTK'd, I mean, by hand advantage, that doesn't mean, well, I'm going to keep all of my traps in my hand, so I don't waste them.
I don't want to imply that.
It means I'm going to keep all my power spells. I'm not going to bluff my power spells. I'm not going to soul charge too early for stuff that's not going to make the best play. I'm just going to wait, hold on to it, wait till I can make a better play with it. And things like that, and just saving your cards to the optimal time, to where if you just use them now and say, I need to play my stuff and push and get a bunch of advantage, then you really run the risk of wasting your cards. So it does go with playstyles a little bit. He plays a lot more aggro than me. I'm more of a sit behind my traps and laugh at you while you try and Yu-Gi-Oh kind of guy. But they're both important, and I understand the need for both, but I personally prefer to have more cards in my hand in case you do sack me with a Raigeki or a Snatch Steal, so I have a better chance of being able to come back from that.
And I do want to correct Mayor. I don't want to imply that you bluff all your power spells.
He does that all the time.
I don't do it all the time, but I do it occasionally. I do it enough to make me not want to do it
Unless
anymore.
you're playing heroes, and you have to, so you can summon your bubble bands. I don't like to set my power spells, especially when everyone's running 7 Raigekis or 7 MSTs this format. So
but
there's literally a guy at our club that runs 3 MST, 3 Dust Tornado, and 2 Night Beams.
Yeah.
Doesn't like back row at all. Beats Cliffwoods a lot though. So.
Yeah, but I generally keep my power spells in my hand unless I need to set them or unless I feel comfortable enough to where they're not going to top deck a Judgment Dragon. Mike. But it does go back to playstyles and the different decks you run. Like running with Dolces, you can get a pretty good field off of one Mew and Angeli in hand, and that is committing a lot to the field. Granted, it's not from your hand, so you still have some cards in your hand, but those usually go to the field too, for protection of your monsters, shutting down the back row and stuff like that. But the way I play, off of 1 or 2 cards I can get a pretty decent field. Generally, it is susceptible to cards that blow up the field, but I mean, you have to take that when it comes, and while yes, keeping your more powerful cards in hand is better than having everything die on the field, being able to control what your opponent does too is really nice. Unless they bring out Judgment Dragon, and then you're kind of screwed unless you have a warning or...
Well, at the same time though, if you said, like, if you're playing Madolches and you make the big push that you always make, because there's one combo of Madolches, where you have a Tiramisu and you downered it over a Levier or whatever, and you just have those sitting there, you have put it, the only pressure you've put on me is, I have to kill the Tiramisu. That's all the pressure you've put on me. You may have pushed last turn, but you invested all of those resources to shuffle 2 cards back in my deck, and if you didn't kill me, that means you have all those resources just chilling under that Tiramisu that you can only activate on your turn, and all I gotta do is kill it, which means either beat over 27 or just destroy it because it doesn't protect itself. And if you have your field spell and your ticket, then you're gonna get all those things back. But if I kill your stuff and all you have is monsters because you just keep recycling them, then that gives me free reign to push through, summon big monsters, and then just kill you in the face.
But see, granted, this doesn't happen with most decks, but with Madolches being able to recycle the monsters, you're not drawing them, and you're going to be able to draw your Raigeki, your Snatch Steal. You can draw some of your back row that you need to help protect your monsters.
I mean, unless I activate skill or anything.
Oh yeah, but then I use my MSTs unless you prohibition them for some reason.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can't say Scoop Face.
Yeah. I hate Prohibition. Side note here, at our club, we're playing a bit of a semester-long tournament.
He was playing against Burning Abyss.
Prohibition Angeli, and then Prohibition MST.
And he was gonna Prohibition, but
drew it after he got it. Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna get off topic. But both types of advantage are important, and you need to be conscious of your resources wherever they are. So I don't really think you need to have one over the other. You need to have both. You can't just, like Roy said, you can't just have a bunch of cards in hand and hope if he doesn't kill me next turn, that don't do you any good. But at the same time, if you Karakuri summon 6 burritos and everything on your turn, and then it's like Raigeki, and you're just sad face, looking at your empty hands, like. So you just have to find a happy medium between the two.
Yeah, and I feel like we've kind of done that, especially in like tag duels. We've mentioned this before.
Well, no, we've beat each other over the head with this topic so much because this is one of the few things we actually disagree on, so we talk about it. And we've kind of reached the point where we understand enough to know that both are important, and we're not going to slam our head against the wall anymore.
If you like the content that you just saw, you can click over here on all these other links and check out the rest of our channel.
And if you liked our stuff, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and tell us what you thought in the comments below.